Hey guys, we're going to be figuring out which is the best investing app, and I've been using all of these apps for years, and I get a tax form at the end of the year from all of these companies. I actually have a portfolio in all of these different accounts, and I don't actually mind it because it's just an extra 1099 form at the end of the year. So if you already have a brokerage account, it's so simple to just make another one. It's no big deal at all. But I'm going to be going over all of my favorite tips and tricks with all of these different investing apps. Which one is the best starter one? Which one is the best for value? Because we have the MooMoo app right here. You literally deposit and get a 5.10% APY without having to pay $5 a month. Like with Robinhood, if you want to get 5% yield, you have to earn 5% with Robinhood Gold by paying $5 every single month. So let's just start with the Robinhood app. So this one is the most basic and easy to understand, but also it lacks a lot of financial metrics that you need to know, so you got to go somewhere else for that. But let's actually start with Robinhood. So you can have your taxable account with them. You can also own your crypto assets in here and also your Roth IRA, and they have a huge match program. So even if you don't pay for gold, which I don't pay for gold, I deposited $121. They matched me $1.21 just for being with them. And also, if you do get Robinhood Gold, they'll actually give you a 3% match. Well, check this out. It costs $5 a month. You get 5% APY. It's FDIC insured through their partner bank, so Robinhood is not actually a bank. And look at this, you get a 1% boost on your deposits in your taxable account and a 3% match on your Roth IRA contributions. So that's what's really cool. They just give you free money if you deposit with them. So here, if we scroll down, we can see all of the assets that you own. So here's your options. I don't own any options contracts right now, but let's actually just click on a random stock right here. Like, let's go to Meta. So the app doesn't give you much to look at. Like, you could see your total percentage change, how much your average cost basis is. But if we scroll down here, this is pretty much it. You can just see the dividend yield, the price to earnings ratio, and the market cap, which really isn't much. You can also read about what the company does. You can see what the bears and the bulls say, which is actually kind of cool. But this is only for some stocks, and this is provided by Morningstar. And also this right here, this is really new to Robinhood. They actually just added this, but you can see what are the people who use the Robinhood app doing with their shares. And you can also see what the hedge funds are doing with the stock. You can see how much are they buying or selling. You can see the exact names of the institutions and also the insiders. So the people who work for the company, what are they doing with their shares? Are they net buying or net selling? It's kind of good to know sometimes. It doesn't really affect the stock price. You can also kind of see their EPS beats or misses versus the analyst expectations. And you can see the history at the very, very bottom. You can see the history of when you bought it and your dividends coming in. So that's pretty much all you can see. And also, one more thing about Robinhood, you can buy and sell a lot of popular stocks at 1 a.m. So Robinhood lets you trade stocks 24/7 except on the weekends. So you could, if you wake up at 1 a.m., you're like, I need to buy some Meta. You could do that if you wanted to, and you can't do that on any other platform. So that's one thing I really love about Robinhood. And Robinhood makes buying and selling stocks super easy. So check this out. If you want to buy a stock, you literally just hit buy, type in the amount of shares you want, and it tells you how much it costs. Then you also get instant deposit bonus. So if you deposit $100 right now, you can spend $100 right then, that exact second. Let's say you want to do options. You're like, what, am I bullish? Am I bearish? They'll tell you what to do. So if you think the stock's going to go up, it'll tell you what options to do. If you think it's going to go down, you should do a long put. If you think it's going to go up or down a bunch, if it does either one, you make a bunch of money. Or you can make money if the stock stays flat. It doesn't move. So there's tons of options you can do if you're into that. Or you can just buy and hold high quality companies like me. Like, check this out. I own Realty Income, which pays a monthly dividend. So I get this $7.89 every single month for the rest of my life, assuming they don't grow it or cut it, you know. And Robinhood also has a credit card that you can get. And I've been on the wait list for I don't even know how long, the longest time. So I guess I'll never get approved. And also, you can see, if you want to, you can see your history. You can go to your history and see all of your dividends that you've received through your lifetime. So if you wanted to look at that, you can see your dividend history, but you can't see a company's dividend history, which is kind of crazy. So now let's go ahead and move to the Webull Investing App. I think I covered everything in the Robinhood app. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to read all of them. So let's actually look at all my favorite features with the Webull app. So first off, there's so many financial metrics on here that Robinhood doesn't have, and I love this. So you can see their dividend yield, their annual dividend, the PE ratio, the forward PE ratio, the market cap, the shares outstanding, the EPS, all that in one screen, which are all super important metrics. But also, let's go and start here. So here's the chart. can also go to the options. So options is really confusing on here. So that's why I actually recommend you do options on Robinhood. And also if you go to the news tab, you can see like what Seeking Alpha articles are saying about the stocks. And then you can have the AI summary. So if you click the little AI thing right there, it does a little summary of the article. You can also see what the intelligent Webull comments are saying about Google stock. So you can kind of see other people's opinions. And there's a lot of Webull commenters. There's a lot of people who use this app. So I'm sure there will be a lot of fun there. And you can also see the analyst price targets from here if you're curious about that. The quant rating, like is this a growth play, an income play, a momentum stock? And it kind of gives you all that. So, oh, and then there's technical analysis. If you don't want to do your own, they kind of tell you the indicators that are happening on all of these charts. So now let me show you my favorite feature. So here's the financials of the company. So you kind of need to know this for every company that you own. Like, look, Google made $24 billion, which is up 18% year over year, which is great news. And we can scroll back the longest time. Look, in 2020, they were lucky to make $10 billion. Now they're making double that, $24 billion just in one quarter of net income. Net income's the number you want to look at. There's also all these metrics up here, the return on assets, return on equity. If you don't know what any of these are, you can just click the little info right here. It tells you what all these are, what the calculation is. And you can see the EPS of Google, of any company. You know, you can see their net margin. This is the free cash flow per share, which is also very important. And if you go over here to the press release, you can see the dividend history of the company. Now, Google has only been paying dividends for 2 quarters, so there's not much of a history, but you could see that with any other stock. You can see the dividend yield. Google only has a dividend yield of 0.53%. You can see their monstrous balance sheet. I mean, this is the financials that I love looking at. Like if you click on here, don't you want to know how much cash a company has? Well, here's Google with the $100 billion of cash and equivalents right now. So remember how Google made $25 billion just this quarter? You can see how much of the company are they buying back. So they spend $15 billion on stock buybacks every single quarter. So buying back their own company. So you can do all this analysis all inside this investing app, which is pretty cool. And that's why I spend the most amount of my time on this app. It's looking at financials of companies and doing technical analysis. So check this out. If you double click on a chart, you can scroll down here, turn on the indicators. You can, add indicators. These are all the ones I look at, but you can look at the MACD, all of these different, indicators and add that to the chart. And you can also do Fibonacci retracements right here. You can add your own lines. You can draw any way you want. And Robinhood, you can't do that on there. So this app literally lets you do whatever you want, which is awesome. And also, whenever you're on a stock, you can see your exact cost basis line. You can even see like where you bought your shares. It'll tell you. But right down here, if you scroll under this, you can see the volume tick by tick. And you can even see the order flow. Like what is big money doing? It says there's a lot of large scale orders going out of SoFi stock in the past 5 days. You can see the average cost basis is $7.32 for the average person. And you can even see, this is the most important part, the short interest to the company. So right now there's 192 million shares being short right now. And there's only 994 million available shares. So literally 20% of this company is being shorted right now. So this is a highly shorted stock. I'd be careful, but you can do that math very quickly just by looking at that. Another great thing about Webull is all the watch lists you can have and how you can organize it. So I made a watch list of all my favorite REITs, real estate investment trust. I even made I added every stock inside the S&P 500 in here. And so I can see what stocks in the S&P 500 today are down the most, which ones are up the most, we can see, which is pretty cool. We can also sort this by market cap. There's so many ways you can filter stocks. And if we go over here to the markets, you can find and discover new stocks you've never heard of. So you can kind of explore ETFs. So we're in the Discover tab. I like to click the markets at the very top so we can see how the S&P 500 did today, and we can see the futures. So that's pretty much everything for the Webull app. They actually do not give you any cash yield. So if you have any extra cash sitting around, you cannot get 5%. That's just not an option on that app. So if I left anything out about the Webull app, let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to read them all. Webull also has a desktop app, and so does MooMoo. And now let me take you to probably my favorite app. This is the MooMoo Investing App, and check this out. So you get a 5.10% APY, FDIC insured through their partner banks, and you don't have to pay $5 a month. There's no hidden fees, nothing like that. So whenever you buy a stock, it'll be down here. You scroll down, let's look at Disney, for example. We actually just recently bought this company. You can see exactly where I bought my shares and my average cost basis line. This one's very similar to Webull. You click at the top here and you can see all the most important financial metrics like the dividend yield, the market cap. But then if we go ahead and click on the company, this offers a lot of stuff that the Webull app doesn't. So check this out. We can see the analyst price targets as well, and we can see them by individual analysts. So we can first see what institutions it is. And then if we click on the analyst, we can see the individual person and you can see their star rating. And they have to be honest, there are some analysts like, look, there's Amanda Tan, she got a 1-star rating. So, I wouldn't use this as personalized advice. Nothing in this video is financial advice, personalized advice. And you can also see the Morningstar research. You don't have to pay for this. This is completely free Morningstar research. We can read their economic moat, their fair value, PE of 23 times. They say this is a $115 stock. It's currently 87. And we can even read the news. So we can see what institutions are changing their price targets, or Disney, are they acquiring any companies? That we can see all the most popular news. And just like on the other app, we can see what comments are talking about, Disney, what are people saying, which is pretty cool. We can see random charts like this. I don't even know what this is, but yeah, we can also see the options. So this options chain is pretty confusing. It's the options chain. I also like to go to Robinhood to do any options, but you can see the unusual activity. Like, is there a lot of calls on a certain date like that came out of nowhere? You can see that. That's for more advanced people. I don't even do options. I just like to buy and hold high quality companies, as you can see right here. And if you're into dividend investors, you can also see the dividend history of the company. Like, check this out. This random company right here that I own has a 2.88% dividend yield, and their payout ratio is only at 25%. So we know that they actually have a lot of room to raise their dividend because the payout ratio is so low. You can see what sector they're in. We can see what the company does. You can read about that as well. And this is another cool thing. You can see what ETFs hold your company. So actually, like this random ETF right here, ticker symbol XLE, the energy sector ETF. Out of this ETF, 4.83% of that entire ETF is just this stock right here, which is pretty cool. All right, so here's another really cool feature with this app. So let's say we're on Nike stock. We click these 4 little things right here. Let's click trend projection. So check this out. It takes what Nike's doing it is right now and compares it to all the other charts doing the exact same thing. So it's kind of estimating what is the stock going to do next. We can see where it's similar, the price action movement, and we can see what is Nike most likely going to do based off previous history. And if we click down in the bottom right, the 3 prongs, we hit versus compare. This is a super underrated feature. We go ahead and let's compare it to some other stocks. Like, we'll compare it to Deckers, On Holdings, and Skechers, Birkenstocks. Yeah, we could compare it to all these stocks, and we can see the difference of the market cap of all the different companies. Like, look at this. This is so cool. They're all laid out right here. Let's look at the PE ratio of all the stocks. We can compare it super easily just like this. What's like their price to sales ratio? Yeah, let's actually keep looking at this. This is pretty cool. What's the gross margins? So all these companies have very good gross margins. What about net margins? So it looks like Crocs, ticker symbol Crocs, has the best net margin. We can also filter them by total revenue. This is where Nike takes the cake, obviously, like by far, and by net profit as well. But that's just some cool things you can do with different sectors. Like, you can compare the dollar stores together, or all the oil stocks, or everything in the same industry, which is pretty cool. And let's say you like to do financial analysis. So we head over here to the company, and they actually give you, oh yeah, we can see the S&P Global analyst expectations. And we can see that this company is beating the EPS expectations every time, and the EBITDA estimates, the top line revenue estimates. And we can see all the most important financial metrics like the earnings per share, the free cash flow, the net margins, the gross margins. And here's another thing that MooMoo does that no other app does. So whenever you go to their financials, we actually scroll over at the very top to the key indicators. So it filters out for this certain sector and company, what are the most important metrics you should be looking at? So look at the gross margins. It's at an all-time high. Let's just go through these, like the net margins at all-time highs. Like, these are very important metrics to know. Like, don't you want to see what the net margin of your company is doing? If it went from 5% to 13%, that's very impressive. We can see the debt to assets ratio, the quick ratio, the everything. We can look at the return on invested capital, which is a super important metric. It's a 30%, the free cash flow to sales ratio, and net income. So these are all ratios that are super hard to calculate, and they just do it for you. So that's another great feature about the MooMoo Investing app that I don't see anywhere else. And MooMoo also incentivizes you to log on every day. So if you hit redeem points right here, you get these points every single day for logging in. I currently have 15,000. You hit earn points every day. Look, I just got 20 points for checking in, and then I get a bonus 10 for clicking that. So check this out. We have 15,000 points. We could redeem that right now. I could redeem a $5 Amazon gift card. Or if I save up to 23,000, I'll get that plushie if I wanted to. Or I could literally right now buy a free share of 0.01 Microsoft. So it's kind of like an incentive way for you to log in every single day, and the points build up the more you do it. So what was my active streak? I know this is stupid, but it's kind of cool. So my active streak is 248 days. So I've been doing this for a very long time, and there's also tons of free ways that they'll give you points by doing stuff, by learning. So if you like learn from their lessons, they'll give you free points. So it's pretty cool to an extent. It's basically free money. It's a few pennies they're giving you every time, because if you can just exchange that for a stock or for a gift card, it's basically free money. If we scroll, we can see all these metrics right here, like what percent of your portfolio is it? You can see your price on cost and all these important metrics. And there's the Discover tab. We can see what people are saying in the chat. You know, there's a lot of cool talk that goes on around here. And this app is also very similar to Webull. You can have a bunch of watch lists. You can even look at what the markets are doing, the S&P 500. You can filter for new stocks. You can look at the sector heat map, which is pretty cool. You can see what sectors are doing good, which ones are doing bad today. And you could even find new stocks in there, and you can see the ETFs, the crypto market, all that. There's even a Forex market. You can even invest in stocks that aren't in the United States on this app, which is pretty cool. And not to mention, check this out. You can change the candle on here. You can change it to the line graph. You can also, like I said earlier, you can do a ton of indicators on here. You can even add more indicators like here if you wanted to. And you can even draw on the chart. You know, you can add your trend line, your Fibonacci sequence, waves, literally whatever you wanted to do on this app. They make it super easy for you. And you can even overlay another stock on top of this. We can compare DocuSign to like the S&P 500 or something. We can kind of have it overlaid. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover about the MooMoo Investing app. And if you want to download any of these apps, I really would appreciate if you use my affiliate link in the description. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Let me know in the comments any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll actually respond to every single comment. You know, test me on that. Hold me accountable. But anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all later.